Welcome to Victor Narrates Reddit. Like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Now, let's begin. I bought my dream house, and my wife moved her parents and siblings in without asking me. "You go to the basement," she ordered. I waited for the big anniversary party and handed them the prenup she never read. She doesn't own a thing. Now, she and her family are begging me to let them live in the basement. 3 days. I was only gone for 3 days, closing the biggest deal of my career. I was driving, thinking about it, ready to surprise her with the good news. I opened the front door of my $620,000 house, and the smell of reheated pizza hit me. For large suitcases in the foyer. I didn't recognize them. My father-in-law was occupying my recliner. My pregnant sister-in-law had her feet up on the $4,000 oak coffee table I had paid for in cash 8 months ago. Her boyfriend was playing on my TV with the controller in one hand and a slice of pizza in the other, leaving grease on the remote. No one looked up, not a single one, except Lily. Dana's daughter came running down the stairs. 7 years old. I had raised her since she was 3. "Daddy Martine, you're here?" She hugged my legs, and I picked her up. She squeezed my neck with her skinny arms. She was the only one in that entire house who was happy to see me. "Hello," I said to the others as I set her down. Nothing, not even a gesture. "Dana," my wife came out of the kitchen, chewing on pizza. "Good, you're here. We moved you to the basement." I stood there with my backpack still slung over my shoulder. "What do you mean you moved me to the basement? Your things are already downstairs. I arranged everything. You'll be fine there." "Dana, what are you talking about? My parents need the master bedroom. For my mom's health. And the study is for my sister. With the pregnancy this advanced, she can't be uncomfortable." I went upstairs without a word. The master bedroom had a new, shiny, freshly installed lock. I turned the handle. Locked. A new lock in my own house. I went back downstairs. Dana and her sister were laughing in the kitchen, ignoring me. I just stood there, breathing slowly so I wouldn't explode. 15 seconds of feeling like an intruder in my own home. "Dana, how did you decide all this without consulting me?" She turned around as if it were nothing. "It's my house too. I don't need your permission." I just stared at her like an idiot. "My house too. And why do I go to the basement? Let's talk. Let's find another way. You can't make these decisions in 3 days without me." "Or what? You want to send my mother with her health problems to the basement? My pregnant sister?" "I don't want to send anyone anywhere. I want us to talk. I've already decided. And it's temporary. Don't be so dramatic." Her sister chimed in from the kitchen, uninvited, her hand on her belly as if that gave her authority. "God, you're so selfish. Your wife is trying to help her family, and all you can do is complain." From the living room, my mother-in-law turned around for the first time. "Martine, don't be dramatic. You should be grateful Dana is letting you stay. You don't even have kids. Technically, you're not a real family yet." She gestured to the room with her hand. "My living room. This is family," my mother-in-law said, chewing. The sister-in-law's boyfriend let out a small laugh, as if it were a good joke. Dana didn't even come to my defense. She looked at me from the kitchen with a coldness I had never seen before, as if I were an annoying tenant. Not her husband. I opened my mouth to respond, and then closed it. Nothing came out. I grabbed my bag and went down to the basement. My desk was shoved against a wall, my laptop on top of it. Boxes were stacked carelessly. An unmade folding bed. The mattress smelled of dampness and old cardboard. I turned off the light and sat in the dark. Upstairs, someone made a toast. I heard Dana's voice laughing. The sound of my wine glass, the one from our trip to Mendoza, the one I gave her for our first anniversary, clinking against another. I lay down on the thin mattress. I looked at the exposed pipes, the small window that barely let in any street light, and I thought about the last 4 years. About every time I had given in, every "it's temporary," every one of Dana's tears that made me say yes. About the $10,000 I put in to save her father's business. The 14-month invasion I never questioned because family is first, the joint accounts I never checked because trusting was easier. I wasn't exaggerating. I was blind. I didn't sleep that night. At 3 a.m., I got up, turned on the laptop, and logged into the bank. I wasn't looking for anything specific. I just wanted to understand how the hell I had ended up in the basement of my own house. That night, for the first time in 4 years, I stopped making excuses for everything. At 3 a.m., the bank's screen lit up the basement like an autopsy room. The statements from the last 8 months told a story I hadn't wanted to read when I should have. Monthly transfers from our joint account to a personal account of Dana's that I didn't know existed. $800 in March, $1,200 in April, $1,000 in May. Month after month, a steady drip that added up to over $8,000. And that was just from the joint account, not a single deposit from my in-laws. In 14 months of living in my house, eating my food, using my electricity and water, they hadn't contributed a single dollar. $20,000 into my father-in-law's failed business, $8,000 in these ant-like transfers, the permanent invasion, and me in the basement. I closed the laptop and stared at the ceiling, the pipes, the small window, the damp mattress. And something changed. It wasn't a flash of light or a dramatic revelation. It was simpler than that. I stopped feeling sorry for them and started feeling ashamed of myself. The first morning was the worst. I went upstairs at 7 for breakfast, and Rebecca, my mother-in-law, blatantly blocked my way to the kitchen with her body. "Hold on, I'm making breakfast for everyone. When I'm done, you can come down for yours." She didn't say, "I'll serve you." She said, "You can come down for yours." As if I were the family dog waiting for scraps. I ate a plate of cold eggs sitting on the bench in the backyard, looking at my kitchen window where my mother-in-law was pouring orange juice for my sister-in-law at my table. The fruit bowl Dana and I bought on our first trip together served as a centerpiece for a family that wasn't mine. That night, before getting back on the laptop, Lily came down to the basement in her pajamas. She sat on the folding bed and showed me a drawing from school. A house with 4 people. Mom, Dad, Martine, Lily, and the dog. "Daddy, why are you sleeping down here?" "It's temporary, my love." The same phrase Dana used to justify everything. Now I was repeating it to her 7-year-old daughter. That afternoon, I went down to the basement to continue reviewing the bank statements, and the laptop wouldn't connect. I checked the Wi-Fi. Password changed. I went upstairs to ask. "I changed it because it was slow." "I put in a more secure one," said my sister-in-law's boyfriend, without taking his eyes off the TV. "Can you give it to me?" asked Dana. "She has it." Dana wasn't there. I sent her a message. She replied 3 hours later. "Oh, I forgot. It's Lily's name with the year. Don't be so dramatic about the Wi-Fi." 3 hours to give me the password to my own internet, in my own house, that I pay for every month. While I waited, I used my phone's data to keep digging. Slow, cutting out every 2 minutes, but it was enough. Now I wasn't looking for amounts. I was looking for dates. I cross-referenced every transfer with Dana's Google Calendar, which had been synced to my phone for years due to a configuration error she never bothered to fix, probably because she never imagined I would check anything. The large transfers coincided with Thursdays, the Thursdays Dana went out for her high school alumni meetings. Every Thursday, without fail, a transfer between $200 and $300 before noon, and Dana out of the house from 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. But it wasn't just that. There were payments to a dental clinic in another city that none of us visited. Purchases at department stores in that same city, always on Thursdays. A hotel charge at 2 a.m. in January, when Dana was supposedly sleeping over at a friend's house. Always the same city, 4 hours from here. I opened Facebook, searched for photos of the supposed alumni reunion. I found one from 3 months ago where someone had tagged Dana. In the photo, she was sitting next to a guy I didn't know, smiling, too close, his hand resting on the back of her chair. The caption, Sebastian and Dana. The reunion we were all waiting for. I opened Sebastian Mora's profile. Married, 2 kids, operations manager at a mining company. He lived 4 hours from here. His cover photo. Him, his wife, 2 small children smiling on a beach. Her high school boyfriend. I searched for more. Another class anniversary dinner. Dana with her head resting on his shoulder. A friend's comment. So great to see you 2 together again after so many years. I stared at the screen until my hands stopped shaking. I needed more. I started capturing everything. Screenshots with date and time stamps, downloaded photos, saved profiles. I organized everything into a new folder on my desktop, and then the basement door opened. Dana came down the stairs, arms crossed. "What are you doing awake at this hour?" I closed the bank tab in half a second, leaving a work spreadsheet open. Preparing Monday's presentation. I couldn't sleep with the noise from upstairs. She glanced at my screen, then at me. I felt cold sweat run down my back. "Ever since you moved into the basement, you've been very strange, Martine. Very quiet, very distant. That's all." "Are you sure? Because if you're still angry about my parents, just tell me instead of having this attitude." "I'm not angry. I already told you I understand." She stood there for a few more seconds, looking at me as if trying to read something behind my eyes. Then she went upstairs without another word. I heard her footsteps fade away. I waited 5 minutes, my heart pounding in my chest. Then I opened the folder again. Now I knew I had to be more careful. The next day, I bought a new laptop with cash from a store far from our neighborhood. Everything I did from then on, the evidence folder, searches, screenshots, I saved in a backpack that I kept in the trunk of my car. If Dana checked my old laptop, she would only find work spreadsheets. But the Facebook evidence wasn't enough. I needed something more solid, and for that, I needed access to something Dana controlled. The statements from her personal account, the one I didn't even know existed until 3 days ago. I tried to log in through the bank app. Incorrect password. I tried to recover it using her email. It asked for a verification code sent to Dana's phone. A dead end. I spent 2 nights thinking about how to solve this without raising suspicion, and the answer came to me while I was eating another plate of cold eggs on the patio, listening to Rebecca laugh in my kitchen. If I couldn't get into Dana's account, I could track the charges from the other side. The hotels. I searched the joint account statements. Every Thursday with a transfer had a corresponding charge. Hotel reservations. Always the same one in the same city. The hotel left a trail. I didn't need Dana's account. I needed the patterns in the account I could control. That week, I cross-referenced months of charges with Sebastian's social media posts. The guy wasn't careful. He posted photos of his life as if no one was watching. Check-ins at restaurants, stories from the airport, posts about work trips with the location activated. And that's when I noticed something odd. On 2 of the dates with hotel charges here in our city, Sebastian had posted photos from an event at his mining company with geolocation, dates, and tagged colleagues. He was 4 hours away, presenting at a conference, while someone was using a hotel room in my city and Dana wasn't home. Sebastian couldn't be in 2 places at once. I noted it, saved it, but didn't dwell on it. The other 4 dates matched up. 4 out of 6 was enough for what I needed. If there was something else behind those 2 loose dates, it would surface eventually. A few days later, I did something I never thought I would. I searched on Facebook for someone Dana never talked about. Her Aunt Carmen, Rebecca's sister, who had been cut off from the family 10 years ago for reasons no one ever explained to me. Whenever I asked, Dana said she was crazy, that she made things up. Rebecca called her the poison viper. I sent her a short message. "I'm Dana's husband. I need to talk to you. I think you understand why." She replied in 20 minutes. "I've been waiting for you for years." We met on Saturday at a cafe far from my neighborhood. Dona Carmen arrived with a cardboard folder, which she placed on the table before ordering her coffee. She told me the story of her own marriage to Don Alberto's brother, how they temporarily moved into her house, how they emptied her bank account, how Rebecca orchestrated everything from the beginning, and how they threw her out on the street the day she dared to set boundaries. "This isn't the first time, son." And Dana didn't learn this on her own. She was taught. In the folder were copies of old papers, transfers that were never paid back, a piece of land in Rebecca's name bought with someone else's money, a power of attorney her sister signed without reading. The same script, 20 years earlier with another man in my place. When I tried to warn my sister-in-law's ex-husband, the entire family cut me off completely. Even my own sister stopped talking to me, and he preferred to leave in silence rather than fight. She looked at me intently. "They all leave quietly, son. None of them fight back. That's why they keep doing it." That sentence echoed in my head for the rest of the afternoon. "I'm not going to leave in silence," I told her. She looked at me for a long time. Then she nodded slowly. I'm glad. It's about time someone fought back. I left the cafe with the folder under my arm and something new in my chest. It wasn't rage. It was cold clarity. That night, when I got home, my sister-in-law's boyfriend was waiting for me at the basement door. Arms crossed, unfriendly face. Hey, brother-in-law, we need to talk. Go on. Dana's worried about you. She says you've been acting weird, going out a lot, coming home late. She asked me to talk to you. Dana asked you to talk to me? We're all worried. We're not kicking you out, man. We just want you to cooperate. This is family. The word cooperate burned my throat. Cooperate. While I was sleeping in a damp basement, eating cold leftovers on the patio, and paying every single bill for this house that he used like a hotel with a jacuzzi. You're right, I said. I'll cooperate more. He patted me on the shoulder as if we were friends and went upstairs. I heard him tell Dana. I talked to him. I think he gets it. I went down to the basement and clenched my jaw until my teeth ached. Then I opened a new laptop and kept working. On Monday, I went to my lawyer's office, the same one who drafted the prenup 4 years ago. The same document Dana had signed, laughing, saying, "Oh, you're so dramatic, as if we're ever going to get divorced." I laid everything on his desk. The transfers, the photos with Sebastian, Donna Carmen's folder. He read it slowly, underlining things with a red pen. Martine, if you can prove infidelity and misappropriation of joint funds, the bad faith clause is activated. The house, investments, the documented loan to your father-in-law, it all remains in your name. She leaves with what she brought. Which was nothing. What do I need? Clean evidence. Recordings in your own home are valid because it's your property. And don't do anything stupid. In the meantime, keep sleeping in the basement. Don't let her suspect a thing. That week, I installed 4 cameras that looked like smoke detectors. One in the hallway by the bedrooms, one in the living room, one in the kitchen, and one disguised as a small lamp on the dining room sideboard. The kitchen one was the hardest. Rebecca practically lived in there, and I had to wait for the entire family to leave for Sunday Mass to install it. A 20-minute window. My hands were shaking as I screwed in the mount. If any of them came back early, there would be no plausible explanation. No one came back. No one noticed anything. They were too busy living for free in my house to pay attention to the details. The third night, reviewing the recordings on the new laptop with headphones, I heard Rebecca talking to Dana in the kitchen after everyone else had gone to bed. You have to sign up for the health insurance before it becomes more obvious. If he finds out before everything is arranged, it will get complicated for us. I know, Mom, but I can't tell him right now with all the drama he made about the basement. Well, hurry up, honey. You can't hide 12 weeks forever. I froze with my headphones on, sitting on the folding bed in the basement. 12 weeks. Dana was pregnant. And from the way they were talking, from the dates, from the Thursdays, from that city 4 hours away, the child wasn't mine. The next day, Dana came down to the basement with a smile I hadn't seen in weeks. She sat on the bed next to me, stroking my arm with that calculated tenderness I knew all too well. Hey, love, I need you to sign an insurance paper for me. It's just a formality, nothing important. I calmly took the paper from her hands. I read it all. It was a coverage extension that named me as the primary responsible party for all registered economic dependents for the duration of the policy, including any minor as the principal beneficiary, Dana Reyes de Martinez. If Dana registered the baby as my dependent, and I signed this, I was legally accepting responsibility. She wanted me to sign for the paternity of a child that wasn't mine, disguised as a medical formality. I'll sign it tomorrow. I'm tired. Are you sure? It has a deadline. Tomorrow, Dana. She left. I photographed the document, capturing the date and time metadata before putting it in my folder. That night, when I got home from work, I knocked before entering. Dana opened the door, looking annoyed. Why are you knocking, Martine? It's your house. You're being ridiculous. Sorry, I'll get over it. I went down to the basement without looking at her. She stood upstairs, probably trying to figure out if that was submission or sarcasm. It didn't matter. What mattered was that the hallway camera recorded her face when she said, "It's your house." Because weeks earlier she had told me, "It's my house too." and now it was convenient for it to be mine. That night, I transferred $28,000 from the joint account to a new account solely in my name. I left the balance at zero. Exactly. The first visible move. The next morning, I hugged Dana in the kitchen. I told her I was sorry, that I had overreacted, that I understood family comes first. Really? She looked at me, searching for the catch. Really? I'm sorry for the drama. You're right. Her face lit up. She kissed me on the cheek and practically ran upstairs. From the hallway, I heard her call Rebecca on the phone. Mom, he fell for it. The asshole fell for it. The hallway camera recorded every word. I went down to the basement, closed the door, and wrote a single message to my lawyer. I'm ready. The anniversary party was in 3 weeks. I opened the folder on the laptop. Recordings, screenshots, photos, bank statements, the prenup, Donna Carmen's folder, 6 months of patterns cross-reference between accounts and social media. And in a corner, a note with 2 dates that didn't add up. 2 Thursdays when Sebastian was somewhere else, but someone had booked a hotel here. Everything I needed was in place. Almost everything, and they would be the last to know. The peace lasted exactly 1 week. On Monday night, Dana came down to the basement without knocking. She was holding her phone with the bank app open, and her eyes were those of someone who has just had the rug pulled out from under them. Where is the money? I sat on the folding bed. I closed the laptop slowly. What money? Don't play dumb, you asshole. The joint account is at zero. $28,000. Where the hell is it? I looked at her without blinking. For the first time in 4 years, I looked at her without fear of what would happen next. I moved it to a new account. There were some strange charges. Strange charges? Yes. Monthly transfers to a personal account of yours. $1,000 a month for 8 months. Charges at department stores in another city on Thursdays. A hotel at 2 a.m. in January. Do those sound like strange charges to you, Dana? She went pale, just for a second. Then she composed herself, tucked her hair behind her ear with that gesture I knew by heart, the one she used when she was buying time. Martine, we need to talk. Seriously. There's something I have to tell you. I already know you're pregnant. She froze. How? It's been almost 14 weeks, according to the calculations your mom made with you in the kitchen a few days ago. I wasn't supposed to find out that way, but here we are. A long silence. 30 seconds that felt like 10 minutes. When she spoke, her voice was different. The business voice, the one she used when she no longer cared to pretend. It's Sebastian's. A mistake. A one-time thing at the high school reunion. A one-time thing for 8 consecutive months. Every Thursday? What a consistent mistake. She smiled. An ugly smile. The kind that escapes when she has no mask left to wear. Look, let's make this easy. You sign the insurance papers as the responsible father. I'll take care of the rest. Congratulations, you get to be a stepfather again. You'll love it. Stepfather again. I stored those 2 words in my chest like you store a stone to throw later. No, Dana. I'm not signing anything. She shot up, her eyes filled with on-demand tears, the way she had always known how to do when she needed me to give in. So what? You never wanted this family. You never wanted my parents. You never really wanted us. Go upstairs, Dana. Leave. She went up without another word. I heard her walk down the hall, go into the master bedroom, and close the door. At 2 a.m., the hallway camera caught her leaving with her phone pressed to her ear. She went into the kitchen and spoke in a low voice, but the dining room recorder picked up every word. Mom, it didn't work. He knows about the money, he knows about the baby. The asshole didn't fall for it. We execute tomorrow. Are you sure, honey? Completely. If we don't do it now, it'll be worse later. I didn't sleep. I backed everything up on 3 separate hard drives. I uploaded encrypted copies to 2 different cloud services. I sent the complete file to my lawyer at 4 a.m. with a single line. If anything happens to me, release everything. At 7 a.m., the kitchen camera recorded something that chilled my blood. Dana sitting with Valentina at the breakfast table. Rebecca beside them, pouring coffee. Just the 3 of them. Dana's voice was soft, almost maternal, like someone explaining something to a child. All you have to do is sign and say what I tell you. that you heard shouting, that you saw me scared. That's it. Valentina was stroking her belly, not looking at Dana, but at the table. And if they ask more questions? They won't ask more questions. The doctor already has the medical report ready. Mom already spoke to him. They just need your signature as a witness, and it's over. But Martine never. Valentina, Rebecca's voice cut like a knife. This man stole money from your sister. Do you want your niece to be born without a cent? Do you want us to be kicked out of the house? Just sign the paper. Valentina signed without looking up. I saved the video with the date, time, and metadata. At 10 a.m., there was a knock at the door. 3 sharp raps. I came up from the basement in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Dana was in the living room, crying into a tissue, impeccably made up for tears. Rebecca was holding her shoulder. Valentina watched from the stairs, her belly prominent, with a face that said she'd rather be anywhere else. 2 officers from the public prosecutor's office. A social worker with a file. Mr. Martin Alvarez? Yes. Temporary restraining order based on a domestic violence complaint. Signed medical report. You have 2 hours to gather your essentials and vacate the premises. You cannot come within 100 meters. The officer handed me the paper. I read it without reacting. Dana had gone to the doctor with bruises on her arms and neck. There were photos. There was a witness signature, Valentina Reyes. The doctor who signed the report was Rebecca's cousin, a gynecologist they had been visiting with Christmas gifts for years. The bruises? She had given them to herself the night before, squeezing her own arms in the bathroom. I know because the hallway camera recorded her going into the bathroom at 3 a.m. and coming out 40 minutes later with her sleeves rolled up. But I couldn't say any of that. Not there. Not yet. The officer is right. I'll pack. I went down to the basement, put the new laptop, 2 hard drives, Donna Carmen's folder, 3 changes of clothes, and my passport into my backpack. I double-checked that the cameras were still active and connected to the remote server. If they discovered them, I'd lose everything. I went upstairs one last time. The family was gathered in the living room like a grotesque family portrait. Rebecca was drinking coffee. Esteban was reading the newspaper. My sister-in-law's boyfriend was looking at his phone. Valentina wouldn't look at me. Dana opened the door for me with a smile she didn't try to hide. Take care, Martine. I hope this helps you reflect. Lily was standing on the stairs, hugging a stuffed animal, still in her pajamas. She looked at me with wide eyes, not understanding what was happening. Where are you going, Daddy? I couldn't answer. Dana pulled her by the arm without looking at her. Inside, Lily. Daddy Martine has to leave. Leave? He's not coming back. Leave. I walked out with the backpack on my shoulder. The officer was waiting outside to confirm my departure. I rented an Airbnb 15 minutes from the house that same afternoon. A small studio, single bed, desk, Wi-Fi. I called my lawyer from a cafe. They kicked me out with a false order. Calm down. The complaint will collapse with your recordings. I'll file the challenge tomorrow. But listen carefully. As long as the order is in effect, you cannot enter that house. And Dana knows that you know. She's going to move things, destroy what she can. The cameras are still active. Good. But if she finds them, you lose that advantage. Pray they don't do a deep clean. I hung up. I sat on the bed in the Airbnb, and for the first time in weeks, I felt something close to panic. Not because of the order, but because of the plan. The anniversary party was in less than 3 weeks. If they didn't lift the restriction in time, I was out. And without the party, there was no stage. Dana would win. I spent the next few nights glued to the laptop, reviewing the remote recordings. Every morning, I downloaded the previous day's videos and reviewed them frame by frame, looking for additional evidence, anything that could help overturn the order and prepare for the party. The second night after I left, the study camera caught Esteban entering with a copied key. He approached the safe built into the wall, the one I had installed 2 years ago. He tried to open it 5 times with different keys. 20 minutes of struggling. He left frustrated, muttering something the camera couldn't pick up. The safe had been empty since the morning I was evicted. I had taken everything. I archived the video. Attempted robbery. Documented. Another piece. But the following Thursday, reviewing the recording from the night before, I saw something that paralyzed me. 10:15 p.m., the living room camera. Someone knocks on the door. Dana opens it. And the man who enters is not Valentina's boyfriend, not Esteban, not a neighbor. It's Andres, my best man, the godfather of our wedding, Paula's husband. The man who has been coming over for Sunday barbecues for 3 years, who hugs me every time he sees me and calls me brother. Andres enters and Dana closes the door behind him, but she doesn't greet him like a best friend. She puts her hand on the back of his neck. He grabs her by the waist. They look at each other for a second, like two people who have been doing this for years. Then they go upstairs and out of the camera's range. I stopped the video, rewound it, watched it again and again and again. I got up from the chair in the Airbnb and stood in the middle of the room, not knowing what to do with my hands. It wasn't pain I felt. I'd used up all my pain in the basement. It was something worse. It was the realization that for 3 years, I had been raising a glass with the man who was sleeping with my wife in my house, probably in my bed, while I was away on business or sleeping one floor below. And then the memories came flooding back, an avalanche I couldn't stop. The barbecues where Andres and Dana would volunteer to go get ice together and take 40 minutes. The times I came home from work and Andres was in the living room waiting for me, but Dana's hair was wet from the shower. The Sundays Paula arrived alone because Andres is working, and 2 hours later he would show up with his shirt untucked and a grin from ear to ear. The joke he made at the last barbecue, looking at Dana, "If you don't take care of your wife, compadre, someone else will." And me, laughing like an idiot, clinking glasses with him. I sat on the floor of the Airbnb and covered my face with my hands. I just sat there like that for a long time until my hands stopped shaking. Then I took a deep breath and opened the laptop again. I went to the 2 dates that didn't add up, the 2 dates with hotel charges where Sebastian was in another city according to his own geolocated posts. I searched for Andres' profile on social media, and there it was. On both dates, Andres had posted photos from the city, a restaurant, a cafe with the location activated, 15 minutes from the hotel with the charges. Sebastian was real. The high school reunion probably existed, but Andres was the constant, the one who was there every Thursday I wasn't, every time I traveled, every time I slept in the basement just one floor away. I continued to obsessively review the camera footage over the next few days, and 4 nights after the first recording, the kitchen camera gave me what I needed. Andres and Dana, sitting at my table, in my kitchen, with my lights on. He was smoking with the window open. She had her hands crossed over her belly, which was starting to show. The dining room recorder captured the audio cleanly. "I can't hide it anymore, Andres. It's showing. Martine already knows. And what do you want me to do? I want you to take responsibility. To leave Paula." "No." Andres's voice was dry, sharp, without an ounce of doubt. "I'm not doing that to Paula. That was never part of the plan. If you want to have it, that's your problem. I'm not going to destroy my marriage for this. Abort it or deal with it yourself." Dana was silent. I saw her jaw tighten on the laptop screen. When she spoke, her voice was broken, but not with sadness, with fury. "Then why did you come here tonight? To tell you in person? Because you would have made a scene on the phone, and I don't want Paula to hear anything." He got up. He left without saying goodbye. Dana sat there in my kitchen alone, her hands on her belly, her gaze lost. 10 minutes without moving. Then she picked up her phone and dialed. "Mom, Andres isn't going to help. Martine won't either. We're on our own." I saved the full video, backed it up on all 3 drives, uploaded it to both clouds. Paula, Dana's best friend, the matron of honor at our wedding, the woman who gave me the tie I wear to important meetings, who organized our bachelor and bachelorette parties, who has 2 children with a man who has been sneaking into my house on Thursdays for 3 years. That night, I opened a new email account using a VPN. I attached 3 files. The recording of Andres entering my house and Dana greeting him, the video of the kitchen conversation where he tells her to abort the baby, and the invitation to the anniversary party with the date and time. I wrote 3 lines. "Paula, your husband has been with Dana in my house for 3 years. She is pregnant with his child. Everything you need is in these files. The anniversary party is in 2 weeks. I need you to be there. If you confront him before then, he will deny everything and destroy the evidence. I'm asking for your patience. I didn't sign it. I sent it and closed the laptop. The next day, I received a message from an unrecognized email address. I confronted him last night. He cried. He swore it was a woman from the gym. I told him I believed him. I don't. I will be at the party on his arm. When you expose him, don't say anything about me. Let me have the final blow. I read the message 3 times. Paula wasn't a victim waiting to be rescued. She was a furious woman with a plan of her own. That week, the lawyer presented the recordings to the court. The video from the night of the alleged assault showed me in the basement, alone, reading on my laptop. Dana was upstairs watching TV with her mother. Zero contact. The hallway camera showed Dana entering the bathroom at 3 a.m. and leaving 40 minutes later. The challenge was successful. The order was lifted with a note from the judge about a possible false report. I didn't return to the house immediately. I told Dana over the phone that I needed a few days to think. You'd better be back for the anniversary, she said. I've already paid for the venue. The whole family is coming. Everyone. I'll be there, Dana. I promise. I called the lawyer that same night. I need 2 sets of documents for the party. The original prenup with the bad faith clause highlighted, and the divorce petition on grounds of infidelity with all the evidence attached. Are you going to do this at the party? Yes. Silence on the other end. Mr. Alvarez, legally I would advise. Will the documents be ready or not? I hung up. I opened the evidence folder on my laptop. Camera recordings, social media screenshots, bank statements cross-referenced with dates, the prenup, Donna Carmen's folder, the video of Valentina signing as a false witness, the video of Dana giving herself bruises in the bathroom, the recording where she tells Rebecca, "We execute tomorrow," the recording of Andres saying, "Abort it or deal with it yourself," the false complaint dismissed by the court, the video of Esteban forcing the safe. Everything, every piece in its place. And somewhere in the city, Paula was ironing the dress she would wear to arrive on Andres' arm at the party, where they would both discover that the man from the basement was never the idiot they thought he was. 12 days to go. The trap was set. There was no turning back. I arrived at the venue at 7:30, wearing a gray suit, a white shirt, and with 3 manila envelopes in the inner pocket of my jacket. In the other pocket, the key to the basement that Dana had given me the night she banished me from my own house. And in my hand, a cloth bag with something I had kept since our first anniversary. Dana saw me enter, and her smile vanished. For half a second, she recomposed herself. She walked towards me in the $4,000 white dress she bought with my credit card and took my arm as if we were the couple of the year. Love, so glad you could make it. The restraining order was lifted last week. The judge reviewed the recordings. Complaint dismissed. Well, it's good that everything's cleared up. Go have a seat. The guests are arriving. By 8, the hall was full. 100 people. Family, friends, and colleagues. Rebecca reigned at the main table in a red dress and a pearl necklace. Esteban beside her, silent. Valentina in the back, her belly now visible. My sister-in-law's boyfriend playing on his phone. Andres and Paula were among the first to arrive. He, with a bottle of red wine and his usual smile, hugged me tightly, patting my back. Brother, happy anniversary. I told you wouldn't leave Dana. Family is family. Thanks, man. Tonight is an important night. Paula kissed me on the cheek. She looked at me for a moment. I gave a slight nod. She returned the gesture. At 8:30, Dana took the microphone. She asked for silence. The room obeyed. Family, friends, thank you for joining us on our 4th anniversary. This year has been difficult, but Martine and I have come out stronger than ever. And I have 2 announcements. She placed both hands on her belly. A dramatic pause. I'm pregnant. Applause. Cheers. Rebecca, crying with emotion. Andres clapping from his table with Paula beside him. And I want you all to know that Martine not only accepted this blessing, but also opened the doors of his home to my entire family. Because that's what we are, a real family. A real family. The same words her mother had used to tell me my marriage didn't count. Dana extended the microphone to me with a triumphant smile. Do you want to say something, love? Of course I do. I took the microphone and connected a USB drive to the laptop that was already linked to the venue's projector. Dana hadn't noticed. First of all, I want to thank you all for being here. And I want to start with something I believe is only fair: the truth. I projected the first image, the prenup, with Clause 7 highlighted in yellow. 4 years ago, Dana signed this prenuptial agreement without reading it. Clause 7. In the event of proven infidelity, all assets become the exclusive property of the aggrieved spouse. The $620,000 house that I bought remains 100% in my name. Every piece of furniture, every wall, every new lock. Murmurs. Dana grabbed my sleeve. Martine, stop. This isn't the time. On the contrary, this is exactly the time. But before I could move to the next file, Dana reached into her purse and pulled out something that stopped me cold. A smoke detector. One of mine. She held it up for everyone to see. Do you want to know what kind of man he is? I found this hidden in the kitchen 3 days ago. It's a spy camera. My husband installed cameras to watch me, to spy on my family, my mother, my pregnant sister. The room went silent. I saw several guests exchange glances. One of Dana's uncles half rose from his chair. The murmur changed tone. It was no longer astonishment. It was discomfort, directed at me. This is illegal, Dana said, looking at me with a natural coldness. This is harassment. It's surveillance. Is this what an innocent man does? I felt the ground shift. I hadn't expected this. Dana had found one camera, probably the one in the kitchen, the hardest to install, the one I put up that Sunday they went to Mass. And she was using it to turn everything around. But she had only found one. The other 3 were still active, and most importantly, the recordings were already backed up. My lawyer stood up from a table in the back. His voice was firm, unhurried. Recordings made on private property by the owner are legally valid. The house is exclusively in Mr. Alvarez's name. There is no crime. What there is certified evidence of what I am about to show you. Dana lost all her color. Rebecca stood up. That's a lie. The house belongs to both of them. It does not, madam. Page 3 of the prenup that you all have in your hands. Read it. Rebecca sat down. I projected the second recording. The kitchen, 7 a.m. Dana's voice, clear as water. All you have to do is sign and say what I tell you. That you heard shouting, that you saw me scared. That's it. Rebecca's voice. Just sign the paper. 100 heads turned towards Valentina. She covered her face with her hands. Next recording. Dana in the hallway at 2 a.m. Mom, the asshole didn't fall for it. He knows about the money. He knows about the baby. We execute tomorrow. Then the video of Dana entering the bathroom at 3 a.m. and leaving 40 minutes later with her sleeves rolled up. The bruises she gave herself for the false complaint. That complaint was dismissed by the court last week, with an official note regarding possible procedural fraud. Rebecca stood up, trembling. That's a deep fake. Fake technology. My daughter would never, sister. The voice came from the back of the room. A woman with short gray hair stood up slowly from the last table. She walked towards the center. Rebecca saw her, and her face fell as if she had seen a ghost. Carmen, what are you doing here? What I should have done 10 years ago. Donna Carmen opened her folder and began distributing documents among the family members present. Old transfers, a piece of land in Rebecca's name bought with someone else's money, a power of attorney signed without being read. The same script 20 years ago with another man. For those who don't remember me, I'm the sister they erased for telling the truth. This is what they did to my son. Read it. It's identical to what they were doing to Martine. 3 couples got up and walked towards the exit without saying goodbye. An uncle left the papers on the table and took his wife by the arm. Rebecca was speechless for the first time all night. But that's not the worst part, I said. The worst part is, who was the baby's father? I projected the video from the living room camera. Thursday night, 2 days after they kicked me out of the house. A knock. Dana opens. Andres enters. She puts her hand on the back of his neck. He grabs her by the waist. They go upstairs. Andres jumped to his feet, but he didn't crumble. He attacked. Wait a minute. That's me, visiting my best friend. I've been going to that house for years. Since when is it a crime to say hello to a friend? He turned to the guests. Are you going to believe a man who installs cameras to spy on his own family? I saw some of the guests nod. Andres spoke with the confidence of someone used to lying well. For a moment, the room was divided. I let the silence hang for 3 seconds. Then I played the kitchen recording. My kitchen, my table, Andres smoking by the open window, Dana with her hands on her belly. I want you to take responsibility. To leave Paula. No, I'm not doing that to Paula. If you want to have it, that's your problem. Abort it or deal with it yourself. Andres's voice filled the hall like a sentence. 100 people stared at him at the same time. His mask shattered into pieces. Paula stood up slowly. She walked towards Dana with a glass of red wine in her hand. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She spoke softly. What's worse? 14 years of friendship, Dana. I drove your kids to school. I lent you money. I took care of you when your father almost died. And this whole time, you were sleeping with my husband in your husband's house. Paula, let me explain. There's nothing to explain. She emptied the glass over the white dress. The red wine spread across the abdomen like a bloodstain. The entire room held its breath. Paula turned to Andres. You sit down. Don't you open your mouth. A man in a gray suit stood up from a table in the back. I am a notary public. Everything said and exhibited from 8 p.m. onwards is hereby certified, including the last statement from the gentleman present. Andres collapsed into his chair, as if his legs had been cut out from under him. Dana searched for her last bullet. She pulled a paper from her purse, her hands shaking. Martin signed it. It's right here. He accepted paternity of the baby. This paper is worth more than all your videos. I walked towards her, took the paper from her hands. I recognized it instantly. The health insurance document she brought down to the basement with her calculated caress, the one I had photographed empty, with metadata, before handing it back to her, and signed. I projected the original photo on the screen. Blank paper, metadata, date, time, location. Then I projected what Dana had just pulled out. The same paper with added text and a scanned signature that was not mine. Falsification of a private document. A criminal offense. Already reported this afternoon. Dana's mouth closed. Nothing came out. I took the 3 manila envelopes from my jacket and dropped them on the table in front of her. First envelope. Divorce petition on grounds of infidelity with certified evidence. Second, a court order for eviction. 48 hours for 6 adults to get out of my house. Third, a criminal complaint against Esteban for attempted robbery. The video of him forcing my safe is already with the public prosecutor's office. I saw Esteban open the envelope, read it, and turn pale. He looked at me with something I hadn't seen in 4 years, fear. I searched for Valentina with my eyes. She was sitting in the back, her eyes fixed on the table. She looked up for a second. I didn't say anything. I just looked at her. She lowered her gaze again, and a sob escaped her. I took the key to the basement out of my pocket. I let it fall onto the envelopes. Remember this key, Dana? You gave it to me the night you sent me to the basement. The night you told me it was your house too, and that you didn't need my permission. I'm giving it back to you, because in 48 hours, when you're evicted, you're going to need a place to stay, and it won't be my house. I opened the cloth bag and took out the wine glass from Mendoza, the one from our first anniversary, the one I heard clinking against another while I lay on the damp mattress in the basement. I placed it on the table in front of her, carefully, without breaking it, so she could see it every day she had left. I approached the microphone one last time. Dana was right about one thing. Family is the most important thing. That's why today, I'm protecting mine. I walked towards the door. Behind me, I heard Rebecca's first scream, Dana's weeping, Paula's voice ordering Andres to get up, Valentina's sobs. I didn't look back. Outside, the air was cold and clean. I took the keys to my house out of my pocket, squeezed them in my hand. 48 hours until it was mine again. I sold the house 2 months after the party, for $50,000 more than I paid for it. Without looking back, I didn't spend another night there, not upstairs, not downstairs. I moved to another city, relocated my company, and bought a modest apartment in the name of a trust set up by the same lawyer who did the prenup. Now, neither Dana, nor Rebecca, nor anyone with the last name Reyes can touch a penny of what I have. Dana is facing criminal charges for falsifying a private document and filing a false report. She's on probation because of the pregnancy. She lives with her parents in a rented two-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of the city, where the four of them are crammed together. The baby was born 3 weeks ago. A girl. They didn't give her Andres' last name because he refused in court. Not mine either, of course. She will grow up with her mother's 2 last names, as if her father never existed. Because for all legal purposes, he never did. Andres got divorced before I did. Paula got the house, the car, and slapped him with child support for the 2 kids he never saw grow up. He lives with his mother in another state. His circle of friends completely erased him. Nobody wants the guy who got his best friend's wife pregnant in his best friend's house. The last I heard of him was from a mutual acquaintance. He's selling car insurance over the phone. The operations manager of a mining company, selling insurance on commission. Life collects its debts. Don Alberto and Rebecca had to pay back the $20,000 I had documented before a notary a week before the party. The original $20,000 loan plus 3 years of accumulated interest. They sold their car, their furniture, and borrowed from relatives who no longer answer their calls. Esteban is still facing criminal proceedings for attempted robbery. Rebecca's cousin, the doctor who signed the false medical report, lost his medical license. He now works in a chain pharmacy. The system Rebecca had built over 20 years crumbled in one night. And the most brutal part is, they're eating each other alive. Rebecca blames Dana. Dana blames Rebecca. Donna Carmen was right. The system devours itself when it runs out of people to exploit. Donna Carmen wrote to me 2 weeks ago. I got the land back, my son. 20 years, but justice was served. Thank you. The land Rebecca had stolen from her own son, using the same tricks they used on me. The documents we gave the judge confirmed the original fraud. Sometimes justice is slow, but when it arrives for everyone. Paula and I became accidental allies. We write to each other every month. We don't talk about the party. We talk about her kids, my new office movies. Sometimes I think she's the only person who truly understands what happened because she lived it with me from the inside. The last time, she wrote, "Thank you for giving me back the dignity I didn't know I had lost." I didn't know how to reply to that. I think we both gave it back to each other. 3 months ago, a letter from Dana arrived at my office. 4 pages, handwritten, the ink smudged in parts. She was asking for forgiveness. She told me she had lost everything and asked if, out of charity, I could let them live in the basement for a few months while they got back on their feet. Her parents, Valentina, that they had nowhere else to go, that we were family. We were family. I put it through the shredder without replying. 2 weeks later, Rebecca sent me a message from Esteban's phone. "Martín, Dana is doing very badly. The baby cries all day. She has no money for diapers. Please help her. You are a good man." I blocked the number without responding. Valentina, my sister-in-law, took 4 months to accept that she had been used. She sent me a handwritten letter apologizing for the false complaint. I didn't reply, but I didn't throw it away. I keep it in the same drawer where I keep the master key to the house I sold. The key I see every morning when I grab my car keys. It doesn't open anything anymore. I don't know why I keep it. Maybe to never forget what it feels like to arrive at your own home and not be allowed in. I got back the house, the company, the money, my good name, and my self-respect. What I didn't get back are the 4 years I spent trusting people who saw me as an ATM, or the friendship with the man who called me brother while he was sneaking into my bed on Thursdays. That doesn't come back. That's the price I paid for being blind. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far. Then I remember the night I came back from my trip with the good news about the biggest contract of my career, only to find 4 strange suitcases in my foyer and my father-in-law in my recliner, and no one who would even look at me. I remember the damn mattress, the pipes on the ceiling, the Mendoza wine glass clinking upstairs while I was trying to sleep below, and I remember the phrase Dana said to her mother on the phone, thinking no one was listening. The asshole fell for it. The asshole didn't fall. He got up. But there's one thing that keeps me up at night. Last Tuesday, at 2:14 a.m., I received an 8-second WhatsApp audio message. Unknown number. The voice was Lily's, my stepdaughter, the girl who called me dad out of habit. 7 years old, whispering as if someone might hear her. "Daddy, I know you're not my real dad, But you were my dad. The other one doesn't want me. Can I come live with you now? I listened to it 3 times. I haven't replied. I haven't deleted it. And here I am at 3 a.m., writing this to you instead of sleeping because justice was complete. Karma collected every debt, and I have everything I lost. But a 7-year-old girl is whispering into a phone, asking if she can come live with me, and I don't know what to do with that. What would you do? Did I go too far by erasing all of them, or did I not go far enough? Does she deserve to pay for her mother's sins? Or do I deserve to stop paying for the decisions of a woman who stopped being my wife a long time ago? Tell me, because honestly, I don't know.